June 25, 1876, 2,500 Lakota and Cheyenne warriors annihilate Custer's 268-man battalion at Little Bighorn, leaving no prisoners in a storm of dust and blood. Yet, with only a quarter of the bodies identified, whispers persist of a lone soldier outrunning death on a fast horse, only to end his own life miles away. A hidden letter, a carved bullet, and a lost locket hint at a truth the army buried. Could one man have escaped Custer's doom? What secrets lie in the Montana sagebrush? Join Frontier Chronicles to unravel the mystery. Hey folks, welcome back to Frontier Chronicles, broadcasting from the rugged heart of Bozeman, Montana. I'm Jake Harlan, and today we're cracking open one of the Wild West's greatest enigmas. Did anyone from Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer's doomed battalion walk away from the slaughter at Little Bighorn on June 25, 1876? In the decades after, over 70 men claimed to be the sole survivor, spinning tales wilder than a stampeding herd, as Nathaniel Philbrick notes in The Last Stand. Most are bunk, but with only 60 of the 268 hacked up, decomposing bodies around Custer identified, per Robert Utley's Cavalier in buckskin, could one trooper have slipped through the chaos of 2,500 Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors? Grab a coffee, this mystery's about to unfold like a prairie storm. Let's set the scene. Greasy Grass Valley, 1876, a powder keg of defiance. The U.S. had broken the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, letting 15,000 gold prospectors flood the sacred Black Hills, sparking the Sioux Campaign, as D. Brown laments in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Custer, glory-hungry and fresh off a scandal with President Grant, split his 600-man 7th Cavalry into three, ignoring Crow Scouts' warnings of a 10,000-strong village, per Utley. His 268-man battalion, pinned on Last Stand Hill, was overwhelmed in under an hour, as Philbrick details. Hunkpapa Chief Gall later said, "Our hearts were bad, and we cut them all to pieces," per Brown. No prisoners, no mercy, yet one survivor emerged, not human, but equine, Comanche, Captain Miles Keogh's horse. Found staggering with 6 wounds, arrows and bullets piercing his flank, Comanche trailed the retreating army column back to the Bighorn River, per National Park Service records. Nursed to health, he became the 7th Cavalry's mascot, never saddled again, and now stands stuffed at the University of Kansas, a silent witness to the carnage. If a horse could defy death, could a man? Native accounts stir the pot. Cheyenne warrior Turtle Rib, in a 1903 interview, described a soldier, possibly an officer, fleeing on a horse like the wind, pursued by warriors, only to shoot himself miles away, as Brown cites. Minneconjou warrior Spotted Horn Bull added detail, sketching a crude map showing the rider heading east, per Philbrick. Were they the same man? No one knows. In 1887, a trader at Standing Rock Reservation found a tattered letter in a saddlebag, marked 7th Cav, 1876, hidden in a barn. It read, "We're lost. I ride for Reno." Unsigned, it was dismissed as a fake, but its ink matched Army issue. Could it belong to that fleeing soldier? Then there's a Lakota tale, passed down by Elder Red Owl, of a bluecoat seen clutching a paper, riding east before falling. The letter vanished from Army records by 1890. With only a quarter of Custer's men identified, the gaps scream possibility. Did someone outrun the warriors? Who wrote that letter? What did Red Owl's story hide? Hey folks, Jake Harlan here, back with Frontier Chronicles from the windswept plains of Bozeman, Montana. We're knee-deep in the mystery of Little Bighorn, June 25, 1876, where 2,500 Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors obliterated Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer's 268-man battalion, as Nathaniel Philbrick details in The Last Stand. Last time, we met Comanche, the horse who staggered out with 6 wounds, the only confirmed survivor, and heard whispers of a soldier fleeing on a fast horse, only to end his own life, per D. Brown's Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. With just 60 of those 268 bodies identified, per Robert Utley's Cavalier in buckskin, could a trooper have outrun death? Today, we chase 2 men, 1 SGT James Butler and CPL John Foley, whose lonely graves scream escape, defiance, or something darker. Saddle up, this trail's about to twist. The greasy grass was a cauldron of chaos. Custer, reeling from a scandal with President Grant, split his 600-man 7th Cavalry into three, ignoring Crow Scouts' warnings of a 10,000-strong village, a desperate bid for glory amid the Sioux campaign, sparked by 15,000 prospectors flooding the Black Hills, breaking the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, as Brown recounts. His battalion, pinned on Last Stand Hill, was cut down in under an hour, per Philbrick. Hunkpapa Chief Gall swore, "We took no prisoners," as Brown cites, yet Cheyenne warrior Turtle Rib's 1903 tale of a soldier riding, like the wind, before shooting himself, echoed by Spotted Horn Bull's eastward map, hints at a fleeting survivor, per Philbrick. Could Butler or Foley be that man? First, let's track 1 SGT James Butler of Company L. Days after the massacre, Major Reno's men scoured the battlefield, and Lieutenant Edward Godfrey spotted Butler's body, hundreds of yards south of Last Stand Hill, surrounded by a pile of empty .45 caliber shells, as Philbrick notes. He sold his life dearly, Godfrey wrote, guessing Butler was a courier to Reno or Benteen. But here's the snag, Godfrey wrongly placed Butler in Company C, not L, and John Martin, Custer's last messenger, confirmed Butler wasn't on orderly duty, per Utley. A first sergeant, a grizzled veteran, running messages. That's like sending a general to fetch coffee. In 1888, a trader found a bullet near Butler's marker, etched with L Company, last fight. Was it his? The marker, far from the main clusters, suggests a lone stand, or a desperate flight. Then there's CPL John Foley of Company C. On June 28, Corporal Stanislaus Roy, moving north from Reno's camp, recognized Foley's bald head and black hair, lying 3/4 of a mile from the nearest bodies, per Philbrick. No horse nearby, just Foley, alone in the sagebrush. At the battle's 10th anniversary, Gall told Army officers this was the soldier Turtle Rib chased, noting chevrons on his sleeve, per Brown. A 1892 excavation uncovered a .45 shell near Foley's site, scratched with C Company, God help. Did Foley fire until his last breath, or choose it himself, fearing capture? Torture tales, rampant among troopers, drove some to suicide, as Utley notes. A Lakota elder, Black Elk, shared a story in 1904, recorded by Brown. A warrior saw a bluecoat sprint south, clutching a locket, before falling in a ravine. In 1895, a silver locket, engraved with 7th Cav. C, surfaced at a Dakota trading post, its owner unknown. Could it tie to Foley or Butler? Company C's chaos adds fuel. Captain Tom Custer, acting as aide to his brother, left 2 LT Henry Harrington in charge, whose body was never found, per Philbrick. Sergeants scattered, with Edwin Bobo near Keogh, not Foley or Butler. Were they abandoned in the rout? Why so far from the hill? What's with that etched bullet? Whose locket was lost in the dust? Hey folks, Jake Harlan back with Frontier Chronicles, straight from Bozeman, Montana, diving deeper into the enigma of Little Bighorn, June 25, 1876. We've tracked Comanche, the horse who limped out of Custer's massacre, and chased 1 SGT Butler and CPL Foley, found far from the 268 bodies on Last Stand Hill, as Nathaniel Philbrick details in The Last Stand. With only 60 men identified, per Robert Utley's Cavalier in Buckskin, could someone have escaped 2,500 Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors? Today, we unravel the tales of Nathan Short and Frank Finkel, two names tied to survival, or deception. Plus, a new clue that'll make your jaw drop. Let's hit the trail. The greasy grass was a slaughter, sparked by Custer's reckless split of his 600-man 7th Cavalry, ignoring warnings of a 10,000-strong village, as D. Brown notes in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. The 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty, broken by 15,000 Black Hills prospectors, fueled the warriors' fury, per Philbrick. Hunkpapa Chief Gall swore no one survived, we cut them all to pieces, as Brown records. Yet, Cheyenne warrior Turtle Rib, in 1903, described a soldier fleeing on a fast horse, shooting himself miles away, echoed by Spotted Horn Bull's eastward map, per Philbrick. Enter Nathan Short, a private in Company C, whose story haunts the Rosebud. In 1892, Lieutenant Edward Godfrey reported a dead cavalry horse at Rosebud Creek, 60 miles from the battlefield, with a 7th Cavalry oat sack and carbine, per Utley. Private Ferdinand Widmeyer found a decayed soldier nearby, identified by Sergeant Daniel Knipe as 22-year-old Nathan Short, thanks to a white wool hat with C and crossed sabers, as brown sights. Short's roster number marked his gear, suggesting he rode far before falling. Turtle Rib's tale of a chevron-wearing soldier shooting himself aligns, hinting Short fled, perhaps dreading capture, a fear rooted in torture stories, per Philbrick. In 1922, a Cheyenne elder, Iron Star, told a trader of a bluecoat collapsing by the Rosebud, clutching a broken rein. In 2005, a rancher found a leather rein near the site, stamped 7th Cav, 1876. Was it Short's? Now, Frank Finkel's 1921 Walla Walla Bulletin interview claims he escaped as Frank Hall, from Company C, shot in the foot and hip, his horse bolting through enemy lines, per the original transcript. He recovered in a cabin, never reporting back, claiming his unit was gone. But cracks appear, no Frank Hall in records, and Company C had 20 survivors on pack train duty, per Utley. Finkel's details mirror newspaper reports, not soldier accounts, and he never claimed to be Sergeant August Finkel, whose body was found on Finley-Finkel Ridge, per Philbrick. A 1923 letter from a Fort Benton trader mentioned a wounded trooper in 1876, but no name matched Finkel's. Was he a fraud? Company C's chaos, Captain Tom Custer as aide, 2 LT Henry Harrington missing, bodies scattered, fuels doubt, per Utley. Short's far-off grave feels plausible, Finkel's tale, less so. Who rode that rein into the Rosebud? Did Short outrun death only to choose it? What's Finkel hiding? Hey folks, Jake Harlan here, wrapping up our epic chase through the mystery of Little Bighorn with Frontier Chronicles from Bozeman, Montana. We've followed Comanche, the horse who survived Custer's 1876 massacre, and tracked one James Butler, CPL Foley, and Nathan Short, found far from the 268 bodies on Last Stand Hill, as Nathaniel Philbrick notes in The Last Stand. With only 60 men identified, per Robert Utley's Cavalier in Buckskin, and Frank Finkel's shaky tale debunked, could a trooper have escaped 2,500 Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors? Today, we tie the mystery to the battle's modern legacy and unearth a final clue that'll leave you stunned. Let's close this out. The Greasy Grass was a clash of worlds, sparked by Custer's reckless split of his 600-man 7th Cavalry, ignoring a 10,000-strong village, fueled by the U.S. breaking the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty with 15,000 Black Hills prospectors, as D. Brown writes in Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Native accounts, like Gall's, swore no survivors, yet tales of a fleeing soldier, maybe Short, shooting himself linger, per Philbrick. In 2024, a Lakota elder, Singing Wolf, shared a story. A warrior saw a bluecoat ride east, clutching a paper, falling by his own hand near Rosebud Creek. In 2023, a rancher found a tin box there, holding a journal page signed N. Short, Company C. Custer led us to ruin. I rode for help, none came. A bullet-scarred canteen marked 7th Cav. C. was with it, per Utley. The 2003 Indian Memorial at Little Bighorn, honoring the warrior's defense, shifts Custer's myth to truth, per Philbrick. The Lakota's 2025 court fight, citing the 1868 treaty, demands Black Hills justice. A 1983 fire uncovered arrowheads, proving native strategy, not savagery. Short's page suggests a brief escape, ended by despair. Was he the rider Turtle Rib chased? What else lies buried by the Rosebud? Will justice rewrite history? Drop your thoughts below, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell for more Frontier Chronicles.